Hello, this is going to be week 19 homework part 2. You can check out the part 1 video that was posted recently, and it'll cover the first 2 pages here for us. So now we're going to start with page 3. Alright, so on this page is just a variety of different types of situations. Right, sometimes we'll have a monomial times a binomial. Sometimes it looks like we'll have a binomial times a binomial. And then we got a couple down here where, there's 3 things by 3 things. So lots of terms to collect and write out. And so we'll just be following the same rules. And those rules are that regular numbers multiply as they always do, and our exponents add. Right? So for example, I'll show us how to work through this one here. Now, I put the boxes here for our final answer. We can either show our work like above or below, wherever you'd like to show that work process. So now on this one, I see I have the negative 4x squared, and I'm going to start distributing it in to the different numbers on the inside. Alright, now I know that regular numbers will multiply as always, so negative 4 times the 7 will give me a negative 28. Alright, and then I have x squared times an x to the 3rd power. I'm going to be adding those exponents, so it'll give me an x to the 5th power. Alright, now I have negative 4x squared. I'm going to multiply it here by the negative 8. So the negative 4 times the negative 8 gives me a positive 32. And I see that I have an x squared. This one doesn't have any x's with it, so it'll just remain that x squared. Alright, so those are the 2 terms I get. Now we can see that these 2 cannot be gathered any further. Sorry, I forgot to draw that arrow. These 2 cannot be gathered any further, right? They're not like terms. So this would be my final answer. So you could write that in on the box. Alright, now remember that these here are just like on the first page, right? Don't forget the 4 arrows you will be drawing. Right, so this x has to meet both numbers in that other parenthesis. This 5 has to meet both numbers in that other parenthesis. So you'll have 4 terms total. Some of them might be able to combine for our final answer. Okay? So I guess my advice on this problem here is just think through logically, right? Take your time. Make sure that you are distributing this 3x squared to all 3 of these terms, the 2x to all 3 of these terms, and the 5 to all 3 of these terms. So you might be expecting 9 terms at first, and then when you gather them, some of them will combine, and we can get our final answer there. Alright, now the back page is adding and subtracting polynomials. Note how I said this is not the FOIL or the box method. Alright, we can see a clear difference. All these either have an addition sign or a subtraction sign in between the 2 polynomials. That means we will not be drawing our arrows like we have been on these other pages. Right, we can see here there is no addition or subtraction. It's telling us to multiply. On these, all we simply have to do is combine our like terms. So for example, if I'm looking here at number 6, I'm going to go through, find my highest exponent terms, and combine them. So here I see a negative 6g to the 5th power and 8g to the 5th power. So if I combine those coefficients, right, we are just adding here. I have negative 6 plus an 8 to give me 2g to the 5th power left over. Alright, and then we'll have to go through and look for our next highest exponent. And I see a 3g squared. Alright, I don't see any other 3g squared, so it's the next part of my answer. And then I see our constant of a 9. So we'll put it there on the end as well. And this will be my final answer. And we can make sure that we used all 4 of the terms. Right, we can see them underlined. They've all been addressed. So all we're doing is adding and subtracting our like terms, depending on what signs are with the numbers. Now, one thing you'll want to look out for, say you see a question like number 8. There's not an addition sign, there's a subtraction sign. So whenever you see a problem like this, think about what it means logically. We have a quantity, and then it wants us to subtract everything over here. So I'm going to have to subtract this first term. So it wants us to subtract both of these terms here. So we're going to show a rewrite underneath. So what I did was I took this negative sign to the positive 9 and turned negative. Took this negative sign to the positive 7q, it turned negative. So now with that, once we've distributed, I like to lightly cross off our old terms so I don't accidentally use them. And now we're just adding them all up. So just like we did earlier, go through and gather those like terms. I see some q to the 4th powers here. Alright, so when I put those, I spent 6, I spent 9, I've spent 15 total, and I'll put together our regular q's. So 5q plus a negative 7q is going to leave us with negative 2q. Alright, and that's what we'll be looking at for our answer here. Now remember, on this page, at no point will you be drawing your 4 distributive arrows or using a box method to help you visualize it. This is all adding and subtracting.